Right, I'm going to roll a couple of stories into one because it's been a long day and I've just not got time to talk about them all as separate videos. Hello and welcome to this video. So we are going to be talking about some things that happened last night. We're going to talk about a rumour that's popped up today. And yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we're hearing that everything is close to being done. So we will see what happens in the next 48 hours or so. So let's just start with the first one. Last night, when being questioned by the media, he turned around and said, Muniz, that Bailey Peacock-Farrell is one of the targets on said list. Did look a bit, not annoyed, but you could tell he didn't really want that to be public knowledge yet. And the fact that is, I think he is slightly annoyed, but he had turned around and said that is who is on the list. And I've seen a lot of people turn around and say poo-poo this deal or ask about why are we going for Bailey Peacock-Farrell when we got Dawson. They're both on the same level, or shouldn't we go somewhere else? Like he said, though, they're looking at more than one person. They're not just looking at Bailey Peacock-Farrell. He just said that is one person on the list of names in that position that we are potentially looking at. That's all he said. I think people have read a little bit too much into the only person we're looking at. I don't think it is at all. We might be looking at Werner. We might be looking at someone else. So we don't know on that aspect. But at the same time, what you've got to remember is at this moment for Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, there are a lot of moving parts at the minute. He also turned around and said the Als have made just one signing this summer, but he said everything is close. Some players are close. He told the media before joking, I haven't checked my mobile. Maybe there's something new. That part of the club is working very hard, and he went on to say, I know people want to know name, but we needed to know what we want exactly. It's true that we are later than others, but this is the market. We understand that whoever coming in needs to give something different to the team. So he also said as well that a few days later, left the training camp, would they join them? He said, this is the idea, but we know what we want with the team needs, and because we've been with them, we know how to improve. I don't feel pressure. Of course, we need players. We need to start moving, but we need players who can give something different. We can sign players because we've given a lot of players, but first I want to check them. I checked them, and now I know exactly what the team needs. So it's interesting. Last game of this preseason is on Friday. Today is Wednesday. So the 2 days left. Are we going to have someone randomly just join the squad or just randomly come into this team and be like, hey, we've got this signing? But it's interesting that he's saying that things are close. Things are saying that things are close to happening. Excuse me. I don't see him as the kind of manager that would say things unless he thought it was true. But also, I do like the line which he turned around and said, particularly, I know people want names, but we need to know what we want exactly. And I think that people want to know names. I think that's a case of going, you want to know name, but I'm not going to give you said name, because if I give you said name, you could quite easily, some other club could come in for said player and we'd be like, well, we've lost that player because we said who it is we're going for. And that's something you don't want to go down the route of, letting people know what your situation is or who you might be bringing in as players. That is the last thing you want to do, because if you let someone know you're bringing X, Y, and Z, and then X, Y, and Z get another offer from, say, other team, which gazumps your one, you just lost on a player that you could have been working ages to get in and get sorted. So I do get why they're keeping their card close to the chest on this one. But a player has been linked today. And it's one that I would love to actually get in. Charlie Savage from Manchester United had a short but very good loan spell at Forest Green last season in the January transfer market. Actually was really impressed against versus us when they played us. I thought he looked very good. Now, there is competition for this. there is us, Wigan and Swansea. Now, I would like to see us hopefully potentially go for him. I think he's a good age. He's a good player to bring in. I think when you look at what we're trying to bring in and what we wanted to do, it will fit that system that we're currently playing really, really well. And I think at the moment, we have to look at what's around and see what the market is. And if that is the market, then we have to look at this player and think, right, this is who we must try and bring in. And I think this makes a lot of sense in terms of him. He's young. Man United want loan spell for him to improve him, which is something you always want to see as a parent club. And I think under someone like Muniz, he would do really, really well. So in that kind of aspect of speculation and things are close, I actually think that would be a really good one to bring in. But again, Bailey Peacock-Farrell confirmed as one of the players we're looking at. Charlie Savage is apparently someone we're looking at as well. And the gaffer has turned around and said we are close to signings. Could, and I say this very thing, could be a busy 48 hours. Now, we'll see what happens here. But it could be a busy 48 hours. It kind of needs to be, but let's see what happens, and hopefully we're a little bit happier come Friday, come Monday. But we'll have to go with the flow, see what happens. But by the sounds of it, we're not sitting on our laurels. We are trying very hard to get things done. The problem is just getting everything signed, sealed, and delivered. He wanted to make sure he had the right people at the club and who he wanted to work with, which is good. Let's just say that. It's good to have that. But you got to remember, he's only been in the job not that long. I think if he was in the job 2 months ago, we would have had players in. Players would have already been signed, done and dusted. Right now, he's just doing what he can with what he got. So, and players are coming in. So we'll see what happens. The fact that things are getting close, we want them to be closer, i.e. holding up the shirt, going welcome to the club. Ideally, you want a couple of these of permanence and then a couple of loans, just because then you've got more flexibility. You don't have to worry about falling in love with a loan player and then the parent club going, we want him back now. He's done really well and you now need to replace him. So it's like, okay, back to drawing board. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've tried to cover everything all in one video. Yeah, everything close by the sounds of it, but we'll see what happens.